Today we're focusing on tips for managing a remote team. Keep it in mind both your businesses and your people's well-being. If you're new to my videos, welcome. I'm Chelsea Castro, lawyer turned psychotherapist on a mission to help you work, live, and feel better. So let's dive right in. Managing a remote team can be anxiety-inducing, especially if you are new to it. Working remotely requires us to develop a new skill set, something that is always challenging and at the very least a little scary. Scary is okay, scary is still doable. You can manage a remote team and do it well. Just keep these 6 tips in mind. Have daily check-ins. These check-ins need to be one-on-one and preferably over video. Yes, you might have group meetings in which you think you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone by having everybody check in about what they are working on, how are they doing, but this is a bad idea. It is a waste of everyone's time and is unlikely to produce the desired results from a check-in. Group meetings need to be efficient and purposeful. Otherwise, you lose people's attention and both precious time and opportunity are lost. Plus, are you really going to be as open and frank about your work and well-being in front of a group of colleagues and maybe even rivals as you are on a one-on-one meeting with your boss? Probably not. Also, a one-on-one video conversation gives you the opportunity as a manager to both get a more frank update on the work being done and a more authentic assessment of how your employee is actually doing. Well-being and mental health is critical to productivity, not to mention about just caring about others. A video one-on-one is the best way to remotely do this. It can be brief and to the point, but make it meaningful. Tip number 2, overcommunicate. Yes, send written recaps of meetings and one-on-ones to keep everyone on the same page. Plus, encourage two-way communication both between you and others and between your team members, and set the example. And remember, it's easy to forget that there are actually people on the other end of that computer or telephone. Just like you check in on someone in an office and see how their day is going, you can and should do the same when managing your remote team. You're human and your employees are human. Don't forget that. Showing that you care is important. And with that said, tip number 3, set the rules of engagement. Research has found that employees are more efficient and satisfied when managers set expectations for the frequency, means, and ideal timing of communication for their teams. For example, we use video conferencing for daily check-in meetings, but we use messaging when something's urgent. Also, if you can let your teams know the best way and time to reach you during the workday. For example, I tend to be more available late in the day for ad hoc phone and video conversations. But if there's an emergency earlier in the day, then use a text to communicate with me. Do this as soon as possible. Set those rules of engagement. The most important factor here is not what the expectations are, but that all the team members share the same set of expectations for communication. All right, tip number 4. Manage work expectations both for yourself and for your employees. This is even more critical when managing a remote team. You need to be clear about the tasks and the reasons behind them, and help your team understand the metrics by which success will be measured. This means deadlines, scope, deliverables matter. Make sure they are discussed in real time and communicated in writing. Moving on to 5, focusing on outcomes instead of activity. This does not apply to every scenario, but it does to many. What matters is that the work gets done and is done well and on time, not what time of day it's actually worked on. Finally, be human. Use those one-on-one meetings to check in for real. Research has shown that employees look to their managers for cues on how to react to a stressor. Effective leaders take a 2-pronged approach. Acknowledging that the stress and anxiety both they and their teams may be feeling is legitimate. And yes, I did just say that it's okay for you as a manager and actually even necessary for managers to acknowledge that stress is in the situation, as long as they also do the second prong, which is provide affirmation of their confidence in their teams. We've got this. This is tough, but I know we can handle it. Let's look for ways to use our strengths during this time. All good examples. So there you have it. Until next time, take care.